Hey everybody, Evan here. I wanted to talk to you about the personalized learning system for students, give you kind of an overview of how it is, how it will work, and also give you a tour of the back end for it so that you can see how teachers can access and use it. First off, before I start, I want to talk conceptually about where we're going with it because we don't have all the features in here during our pilot year. The document you see on your screen talks about the different features that we will have. The key place to start here is if we think of the personalized learning system as a catalog of different components, which would be right in this column here. Sorry, I didn't highlight the way I wanted it to. We can think of things such as self-paced lessons or different module types that we would have within the system. This is very similar to what we have in our teacher system already, and we have things such as mandatory reporting of child abuse and other trainings there that are very self-paced and lesson-oriented. So that same type is something that we can reproduce here. We can develop them statewide. We can have teachers develop them too. We have a professional development course that helps teachers know how to create self-paced lessons. And there's also many different open source lessons that are out there as well. And we're working with some vendors to go and to provide content that would fit within our system. That's not the only piece. We want to couple that with different assessments that can be conducted via the system. Some of them will be ones that the computer assesses. Some will be ones that a teacher assesses, such as an online rubric for a particular assignment. And then finally, we also want to have a place where a student does a performance task. So they actually upload or record themselves on within the system, and they do this on a different task that they're asked to do. That might have something such as video or audio, or it might have a place where you upload a file. Also might have a place where you link out to a web resource as well, if you have something off-site. So those pieces are the pieces that we're looking at for this year. That represents the green, the yellow, and the orange. And we often think of things as a curriculum and having those different pieces. So one of our earliest curriculums we're working with is the Character Counts in Iowa Institute for Excellence in Ethics curriculum. And it combines different self-paced lessons, some assessments, mainly teacher-assessed rubrics, as well as performance tasks. And those pieces can be taken all together as a curriculum, or you can pull them out separately and use them in your own class and such. We do have some other layers that we're working on too. This purple layer we're also going to have this year. It's just a resource layer, and that is to say that we'll have the ability to just upload documents and resources that a student can go and download it. Those might be supplements to the classes or the modules that they're taking within the system. It might have, like a PDF handout for something that they would use, but it doesn't have any activity within it. We also are looking at the way of making this system a hub for events. This is going to be down the road a little bit, so don't get too hung up with some of the details here. But one of the things we've talked about is that in a self-paced learning environment, one thing you want to do is you want to connect students with other students and other opportunities for learning that's out there. Now that might be within a district. You might have activities or events that they can take part in, but can also be statewide type things. Again, we're working with some statewide groups who are interested in the possibility of hosting statewide events, such as Future Farmers of America or other things like that. They might use the system to say, hey, we've got a representative from Pioneer who's going to come in and talk about what their company looks for when hiring, or other organizations talk about some of the contests, like the Iowa Bar Association and mock trials, some of those things. So that's one layer, the events, and there'll be a calendar that will be there that students can find events and then actually register for them and participate in them. And then another layer is this red layer up at the top, which is communities. Not only will we have events for students, but we actually also have places where students could collaborate in an online community with other students. You would follow a community of practice model and be passed around a topic of interest, and we would have facilitators from districts, higher education, as well as the community who are willing to help facilitate and make that community run. Again, thinking of groups like FFA and Iowa Bar Association and other groups like that, some statewide organizations coupling with different groups from like Iowa State University or such. There's an opportunity for a lot of really good partnerships. All of this creates a really robust self-paced learning option for students. They can participate in the community and they can go through some of the modular content and some of these other pieces to help be a foundation for that learning. Okay. So we've got this idea of this catalog, which is going to contain different layers of items, different things that make up the catalog. There are many sources for the content at each layer. There's going to be many ways in which students can add things in. We're going to enhance those over time. Right now in the system, we do have the green layer there, and we do have some statewide developed content. We also have the ability for districts or even teachers to generate their own and upload their own content. So we've got a couple pieces in there already. I mentioned the Institute for Excellence in Ethics. That's one e-curriculum that we're putting in there. We're looking at some others. This year, as I said, we're adding in the yellow and the orange layers, some pieces, piece by piece. We're going to build that robust catalog over the period of time. Now here's what a school can do with that. A school can go and they can decide how they want to use this. What do they want to do in terms of personalized learning? They're essentially creating a learning opportunity for their students. And there's lots of different definitions for this. It could be differentiation within your classroom. So a teacher could come in and say, I've got some pieces of this catalog that I want to offer. Some of my students. It could be enrichment, or it could be some information to give them about a topic that they don't normally cover in the class. They might take a financial literacy module to help get some understanding for a project that they're doing, even if the class isn't really about financial literacy. So those type of things. So a class is one place, and so the teacher can come in and do that. Some schools are looking at competency-based education, so they'll have the ability to define a competency based on the items here. A career pathway is another way, working with community colleges or even districts to say there are pathways to get ready for a certain profession. And to be prepared for that, you would need to complete these modules or a select item from this list of different assessments and tasks and those type of things. Another one that's not on here, standard-based grading can go in, and our standard-based education also has a way in which they can structure personalized learning opportunities. Keep in mind that every item that's added in here will be aligned with the Iowa core. So as you add in a module or you add in an assessment or whatever, you will check off to say, this module meets these things within the Iowa core. So when you create your opportunity, you can search by different modules, and when you find them, you can select them and identify those. One last personalized learning option to talk about is just having students create their own personalized plan, whether that's kind of a PEP model or whether that is something that is done as maybe like a senior project or an independent study, whatever the case is. This system will allow for that type of personalized learning opportunity. So the opportunity is created, it gets assigned to a student, and so we're now in this fourth column here, and the student does the work. They go through, they complete the modules, they complete the assessments, they complete the performance tasks, and all of their work generates different data, and you can see that here on the right. For modules, it's very simple. I just completion records. I completed this module. Here's when. If there's something that's expired with it, an expiration would show whether it's valid or current or what have you. Their assessment results would also appear, as would their artifacts. And when we talk about those online communities, those attendance records from different events would appear, as well as different credentials that they've earned within their community. The key is that this data that's pulled together is really a portfolio for the student. What they're doing is they're saying, here is what I have learned, here is what I have accomplished working with this. And so it's not like a traditional class where you just go through and you get a grade on a report card and that's kind of the end. This is all about what have you done, and it's an ongoing collection of that. At this point in time, it's really up to the school to decide what they're going to do with it. The system really kind of stops there and collects the data. A student can make certain things public to the world or private to just teachers or what have you. If a district wants to award credit for it, maybe this was a credit recovery option, and so they're going to issue credit. If it's in lieu of credit, as in competency-based education, if a teacher is going to give points as part of their class, that's all a local decision. And you can utilize the system however you'd like. Okay, so that's the big picture. And again, some of these pieces we're working on here, and some of them we have in place. There's going to be a lot of change over the course of the year, both in terms of what we're trying to do as well as response to the feedback we get from our piloting teachers. So let's take a look at the system. I'm going to go to the web. I've already logged in at the site. And when you log in, if you are a teacher, you're going to see, and these menus might change in time, but right now it says admin. It might say educator or teacher here on the end once we get it formalized. Okay, you'll know then if you don't have that, that means you're not in as a teacher, and we need to change that so that you get that type of access. First page you'll see right now is listed as courses. This will change. I think we're going to be calling this modules in turn. So module would be any lessons or assessments or the performance tasks that we would have. Right now, we just have the lessons. We don't have the assessments and performance tasks in there. But you can go in and you can see, if you click on our catalog, you can see the different things that we have got here. We are in a mode of creating a lot of lessons pretty rapidly. We've got a series from the Character Counts Institute for Excellence and Ethics curriculum. And so those will continue to populate. We're going to have 40 lessons from that by the end of October. I mentioned that we've got a digital citizenship mini curriculum here, different lessons there. We've also got 3 lessons on lab safety that we've got in there as well. And we've got several others that we'll be adding. A few of these are actual test products, the copyright 2, and the social media items are actually for teachers, and we're testing them out here in the system. And we're going to actually move that over to the teacher side in a little bit. So so while you can see them now, they won't be there for too long. Okay. The way the system works is from our catalog, you can go in, you can click on a training, and you can register for it. It will ask you to click continue to go into the training. And once you do, then this is very similar to our teacher system. You can click on the next page to go through in a linear format. There's also a table of contents. Our lessons are becoming more and more advanced. We have some more interactives involved. I have a lot of embedded video and other activities. In some of the lessons, especially the Character Counts one, we have activities or reflection items that work really well in conjunction with a face-to-face class a teacher can use. And we also have an opportunity to have some supplemental things as well. So you're going to see a little bit more enhancement than a typical just kind of self-paced training, shall we say. And that'll increase over time. We want to make this a very robust experience for students. So when you're done, it will mark down that you're done with your record, and then that course will appear in your completed area. Right now, all it has is in the enrolled area, and as I said, it would show up when you're here for completed. Okay. I mentioned that as a teacher or administrator, you have access to go into the system and add your own courses as well. We have that feature available. I'm not going to show you all the bells and whistles, but if you want to play with it, you can. To upload your own courses, you have to click on Manage here. And once you have clicked on Manage, this would list any of the courses that have been uploaded for your district in time. That's actually going to be down to the teacher. List which ones you personally have uploaded, and then in a separate folder the ones for your district, and then a separate folder ones that are available statewide that you can pull down. We have 3 different options right now. The district module is the simplest option. If I click on that, this option is you just simply upload a file, and then the student would go through that, and once they're completed, there would be either a button to check to say, yes, I've completed this, or you can put in a little post-assessment, check your understanding quiz, just to make sure that they have completed it. Again, this isn't an assessment, this is a lesson, so So that's the main purpose, is just to identify once they're completed. So you might say, well, I've got a PowerPoint that I want my students to go through. You could upload it here, and then then you can assign it to students, and then that would be something that they could go through. They could download it or look at it. In time, we're actually going to have a supplement to this where you can embed something like a video or things with an embed code, or you could link out to a different item that sits on the web. Okay. Going back to the course list, we also have another tool that we use for different trainings called SoftChalk. SoftChalk creates very sophisticated online lessons, and we have a course to help teachers create lessons within SoftChalk. If you have a SoftChalk lesson, we do have an import where you can go in and import it in. There's a little bit of rough edges. Some of the things SoftChalk does in there are really neat. They have things like embedded activities, such as they've got a little flip book that you can go through. They've got a drag and drop. They've got a hotspot where you can have an image, and if you hover over things, different text pops up. All these types of interactives. And they heavily used JavaScript, which and that doesn't always work within an online system and iPads and things like that. They used to use Flash, so that wouldn't work at all with iPads. So they are getting better at taking that out, trying to make it HTML5 compliant. A little jargon there. But the conversion tool helps to make that available for the web. You're going to notice that if you log in with via your internet on your internet browser on your iPad, this is pretty good to go ahead and browse through. And in time, we'll have an app that will go along with this as well. You can also go and create your own new module as well. So if I clicked here and I entered in a module type, and I'm just going to make it for district. Okay. And then I go to my list, and there it is, but I want to click on it, edit it. And here you can go in and add your content and add your quizzes. You can insert pages and such. If I click on page 1, and I click down here, you see you get to your editor, and you can go in and edit it in. And then, as we said, you can go in and put in images. We have a little image folder where you can upload many images. And at the end, you can go in and enter a quiz. Over time, this is going to be more sophisticated. We're going to have little interactives that are built into the system as well. It won't be as robust as SoftChalk. SoftChalk has like 30 interactives in it right now. This will probably have about 10. But it will be pretty nice to use. So if you're interested in actually developing your own modules here on site, we can offer some specific professional development around that and help in that process. All right. So those are the uploads. You can create your own trainings, and once you do, those will appear within our catalog. And if I click over here on district modules, I didn't actually save it, but it would appear there. You can go and make it inactive. I think I did something wrong here. Okay. I need to finish this out here before it shows up in the actual course list. Okay. All right. So that's a brief overview of the courses area. Also, if I click on the little home, this also is going to be more sophisticated in time. And we have an item here called the library, and this is where you can go and you can download content. These are the teacher guides for the character counts lessons. These are PDFs that you can use. And so those are available to you. In turn, a teacher, a district, and the state will have different areas within the library where they can just upload documents. Again, that's that bottom purple layer within our document on the different services that we have. I mentioned there's also a layer here for you. This is where you can go in and edit your own personal information. You've got a profile type here. If I were to click on Portfolio, for example, it would list anything that I personally have uploaded. So think of yourself as a student. You have the ability to upload other things to your portfolio outside of assigned activities. Right now there's nothing in there, but if I click Upload here, I can go and find a particular item. We'll take this picture right here. And I can decide whether I want to make it public or private. Make it public. And I can upload that file. And again, as I mentioned here, it's placed in. Now you see it's within your portfolio. So you can upload, Word documents, PowerPoints, other things that you have created. You can put in there. Again, we're going to add the ability to embed as well as to link out. Those will be options that'll be here. The other thing too is that when you upload, it will, in time, ask you to connect that with things within the Iowa core. So they'll have to know what this file is and how it relates to their overall learning and what they need to know. We have a similar option available right now in the teacher system, so that when a teacher uploads an artifact, they need to align it with the Iowa teaching standard and criteria that it addresses, and they can pick multiple ones. It'll be very similar here. We're actually going through and trying to make that a manageable process, because the Iowa core does have a lot of things in here, and it can become overwhelming for students to try to go and identify those. But that's a feature that should be available probably by November-ish, I would assume. Okay. All right, so that's how you can go in. I'm going to delete that out because that's not my account. So that's another item within the system we have already. I mentioned as a teacher you should have this here, the admin item. This will, when you click on this, this will let you know who is logged in and who is not. It would also let you know which students are on board at the moment. We mentioned that calendar system that would list upcoming events and such. We've got kind of the shell for it, but we don't have all the functionality for it here yet. So you can play with it if you'd like, but it's not a finished product by any means. Within this area, you can click here to search for your students, and then you can go ahead. I'm just going to do a wildcard to pull up all the students from Waverly Shell Rock. I mentioned that there's several ones that we have created here in the test system. In turn, though, that will obviously list lots and lots of students. Okay? If you want to go and look at their profile information, you can click here and it'll bring up that person's profile. You can go in, you can edit their information. If they lost a password or something like that, you can do that. We also have a feature where you can merge accounts. If the student accidentally made multiple accounts, you can go in and do that. That's a feature as well. If you were to click on that individual, we have here a place where you can go and see what have they registered for, what have they completed. You can also see, you can print off a record of those things for the different areas. Down here below we have all the different trainings. You can go in and assign them a training. If I were to assign a particular training, you can set the date by which it would need to be done. And I said the word training is more, again, I'm using my teacher lingo, the teacher system lingo. It's really a module that they would complete. You do the same with an assessment or a performance task if you would assign that to them. Okay. Again, feature-wise, in time, this will actually be more sophisticated. In addition to seeing that, you're going to have the ability to assign multiple things at one time so that you don't have to click through. And you also have the ability to bulk upload students and bulk assign them for things. Again, all of this will be features we add over time. All right, back to admin functions here. You can also then pull up, this is an item that we have, this is information from the district, I should say. And then we also have reports that you can pull up. And this would say who has completed any particular course. It says who's enrolled and who's completed. We'll give you that information too. Okay. A lot of what you see here is straight from our teacher system, so it's kind of duplicated its efforts. While it's useful, we see a lot other and additional things that we need to do to put into the system to make it handy. The one great thing we can say about this is it's very easy to use in terms of learning management systems. I've seen this is Very basic. It gets students to the content right away, and lets them go at their own pace. The catalog component is right there, and students can easily pick things. And we have the ability, by it being statewide, to aggregate a lot of things together. Not only are we going to be putting a lot of things in with content, but other consultants in the AEA, from the DE, as well as districts. Real power will come when we have thousands of teachers across the state using the system and uploading content and sharing that with teachers. If you think about things like common things that teachers teach, but might not, they might have to create the resources from scratch. Foundational lessons on how to cite sources, or how to convert different items within the metric system, how to figure out slope intercept, all the different things that are part of a curriculum that you could actually take not only from the regular spot but actually use it cross curriculum. If I'm a math teacher and I'm having them do a research project and I want them to be able to cite sources, I, as a math teacher, might not have any background with developing a lesson to help students with that. Here would be one available. I could use that as a foundational piece and connect that to my project that I'm having them do. It's really got a lot of potential, and we're excited about it. So if you have any questions or comments, please contact me. Again, Evan Abbey. My email is EABBEY, that's EABBY, at aeapdonline.org. And we're excited about this pilot year, and we're really interested to hear from you. We see great things and a lot of additional changes that we can do over this year. Thank you very much.